Hey everyone, Ariel Adams here with a blog to watch. Today I'm going to review the Casio G-Shock GCWB5000 UN6. This is part of the new GCWB5000 collection, which is essentially this case profile on the bracelet, but now in carbon. And it's expensive, but it's also an extremely high performance watch because it has all that G-Shock durability with incredible lightness. Now this particular version has this kind of cosmic blue-purple vibe going on with sparkly bits. I think it's awesome. It's not for everyone. There's a more sober looking, if you will, black version that has a kind of interesting organic texture to it. But this technology is special and is here to stay. And the point that I was trying to come to a moment ago was that this watch weighs 65 grams. That's the case and bracelet. Extremely, extremely lightweight. Obviously, you know, I guess it could be lighter, but it doesn't need to be lighter. You compare this with a metal version of this watch, which weighs maybe not triple the amount, but I think, for example, the metal version of this weighed 167 grams, and this is 65. So you can see that there's a huge difference there. Now, actually, the parts, like the bracelet, are minorly thicker here in the carbon version than metal. Because the material itself, I think this needs to be thicker to be as G-Shock durable as they want it to be. But pretty much everything else is the same in terms of the case guard, if you will, the hood that goes over here. There's different carbons which are used. There's sort of a forged carbon material, which is much of the case in the bracelet. There's a different sort of carbon material for the case back. There's a layered carbon material here you can see for elements of the clasp here. So this hinge part right here, if you look carefully, there's sort of these pieces of layered carbon. And you know, this element right here, which is normally metal, is quite heavy. So the fact that they were able to keep pretty much the same profile and everything like that in this exotic material is fantastic. A question that remains to be answered that is really something that people who buy expensive, look at that, wow, so nice, who buy expensive G-Shocks ask is, how will this wear? Metal, they sort of have an understanding. Resin, they have an understanding. Carbon, it's difficult. In ceramic, we know is highly scratch resistant, obviously completely different material. Carbon can scratch. I've not seen a lot of high-end carbon watches that have been worn on the wrist for several years because not that many exist to see what can happen. I suppose pieces of it could be gouged. You couldn't really see it that well. I don't know if replacing the case would be an answer, but this is not really per se related to this watch right here. But in general, I think it's important that as we see more and more carbon watches, which are expensive, this particular G-Shock is not expensive in the scheme of luxury watches, but for a G-Shock, you know, I'll cut to the chase. This is a $2,000 retail price watch. That's a lot of money. With Japanese watches, high-end ones, there's sort of a built-in promise of this is going to look good in the long run. How much you have to baby these is sort of yet to be seen. So it feels and looks durable to me, and I've worn this not a lot, and it doesn't really have scratches, but I'm just saying this is sort of an unknown thing. The bracelet, I want to get back to it for a moment. Unlike the standard versions of this sort of profile, do not have little metal spring bar things to hold the links, but actually a more traditional bar, which is not metal. I think it's maybe a graphene or something like that, which appeared to me yet another weight savings technique. So a lot of little things went into that, even the bars holding together the links. The movement is unchanged. This is standard. This is the more advanced module because it has the Bluetooth and solar and the atomic clock radio thing, which is not really that big of a deal. But the Bluetooth thing and the solar, I think, are very, very important features. So you do have the most modern digital module here. But there is even a higher level of operating system that Casio has in some of its watches that right now do not have the carbon treatment but it's difficult for them to know, you know, what case profile, what movement, what material, what price point. There's so many variables there. But this is such a cool watch. And again, just having it on the wrist with that extremely light profile there, you barely feel it. I think that these types of colors are hip. I completely understand if this, blotchy purple is not for you. If that doesn't really go with your fashion sense, there are others. But again, there's going to be more of these watches in this carbon material from Casio in the G-Shock collection. So we'll be there to be excited about it. And this, for what they call this, the 5000 case profile, was the first to get it. You can see the full review of this watch on the Blog to Watch website. And again, this is the Casio G-Shock GCWB5000 UN6. Retail price again is $2,000 US. And you can see more on the Blog to Watch. Thanks.